What do you think it means when someone says they're pushing P?
Someone talked about this the other day in my friend group. I don't know. I don't want to know.
You know, like, he's pushing P. Pretty cool.
They made it sound like it was very bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. We wouldn't put that content on a church YouTube channel.
Okay, good.
It means being a real one.
See?
Or just
Same
like
thing.
when something's like valid. You know.
Valid.
I don't know.
I feel like people aren't gonna know what valid means. It just means when, like, something's like good, you know? It's like, oh, you're cool.
So I was literally right.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
You
are though. You're like very.
I'm very lax right now. Well, because I'm like more like I have options here. I have like a whole array of like angles that can be caught at. So.
I'm Sarah. This is Sky.
Hi, hi guys.
Okay.
This is Teen Talks. I'm a teen. Who's
Looks
talking.
like maybe not.
We're talking about peace. We're talking about peace today.
Hi, I'm Sarah. This is Sky.
We'll play for the outro of today's video.
Okay.
Gotta remember it.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be talking about peace today.
We are talking about
And other
peace
pieces
today.
of peace. What is it in your life that gives you peace or makes you feel like you need peace?
Oh, like things. Okay, so what makes me feel like I am peaceful? I guess just like I like painting a lot.
Okay.
So when I paint, I feel very peaceful.
That's cool.
Yeah, and things that make me feel not peaceful, everything else. So painting's really nice. So I can just
I think for me it's piano.
Makes sense.
Like I actually used to tell people I pray at the piano. It's just it's kind of like I can kind of get away from things and maybe not think about it anymore. And
let's give you something to like
nice.
separate. Everyone needs that thing to just separate themselves from like the world. So.
And it's also it's not. I'm not practicing to perform for anyone, so it's really just for me or between me and God.
Yeah.
So it's something nice.
It's like a very intimate thing. I think this is like very can reflect a lot. That's what I like about it, like painting and probably for piano too. You can just reflect a lot and just be in your head for once and not always think about like everything else that's going on in the outside world.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think like when we hear the word peace, we either think of it in like a context of like peace versus war, or I don't know, like you were saying earlier, like wishing for world peace.
Right. That's like normally the answer that people give. It's like, oh, what's one thing you could fix about the world? It's like world peace. It's something we like all seek for, and I think it's just it's innate human desire to want to be peaceful and have that moment of just like relaxation and be able to just unwind for a minute and just like spend time with God and like with yourself.
Yeah. And we look at the world and there's so many ways, so many places that it's just we see unpeace.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot that's wrong with our world.
Yeah.
A lot.
In the book of John, in the Bible, in John 14:27, well, in John 14, Jesus is explaining to his disciples he's going to be leaving them soon. And so they get this sense of, no, and they're freaking out. It's interesting because Jesus has given them lots of examples already about, like, how to trust in God and to be at peace. Like, remember the time where they're out on the ocean and there's a storm. Actually, it's not even the ocean. It's like a lake.
It's just a big lake.
Yeah. They call it the Sea of Galilee, but it's a lake. It's like Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. It's not.
Kind of.
They just, I mean, it might have been big to them at the time.
It's not very big. You can see to the other side.
That's so funny.
It's not, That's
so funny that they
were intimidated. I saw it and I'm like, that's
anticlimactic,
actually.
Were you underwhelmed?
Well, on their behalf, I was underwhelmed. I was like, guys.
You were scared of this? Like this?
I think I can handle this. And also, like, how... I don't know. So I've been out on a lake and, they get waves when, like, other boats go by. So what, like, how fast is the fishing boat without a motor going for these waves? But, okay, I guess the wind can do things and we'll
maybe
knock them until we've fed them. But, Jesus is sleeping and they're all freaking out. We're going to drown. And he's like, really?
Also, the disciples are always dramatic, I feel like.
They are.
They're always so dramatic.
I feel like the this will be a video for another day. But we have so many girls in the youth group that could be this and do this, and we could actually, if we get them all on camera, at their craziest moments, we could like understand it maybe a little better.
We'll probably get a little
That's
perspective.
actually, I kind of want to do that now.
It'll another
It could
episode.
happen.
It will make it happen. Yeah.
But in John 14, Jesus is telling his disciples that he's not always going to be with them, and it causes them once again probably to freak out.
Turmoil. Yes.
Yeah. And he says this. He says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And this is like this crazy, drastic statement, because you can't just tell somebody, "Hey, be peaceful."
Right. Exactly. That's it's like, oh, calm down. It's okay.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, yeah, because that's exactly what works when somebody's freaking out. Like,
right. That's the best thing. You can
what are you upset about? Yeah, no, it doesn't really work. But his thing says what he's giving them isn't. It's different than what the world gives.
Right.
So there's something about peace that comes from God.
Yeah. And I think especially that last line, "I don't give as the world gives." That is like, that's so powerful. Because I feel like we always default to searching for like the world for something that will make us
like
more
chair.
peaceful. Like a chair. Which is no, this is great. This is great for the moment. Like when I'm spinning.
But you're going to have to go home.
I'm gonna have to go home
and leave the chair.
Gonna get stressed out. Like there's nothing that will stick with me to keep me peaceful consistently throughout like all of my life.
Right.
So I think that's where God comes in, and that's where he really is ultimate peace.
Yeah. And then he says, "Don't let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid," which is basically what every angel has ever said to anyone in the Bible when they show up, which is funny. I bet they're tall, I bet they're scary, and their first words are always "don't be afraid," which means the first response is people are very afraid. Yeah. And now Jesus is saying the same thing. Don't be troubled. Right. Don't be afraid. Right. It reminds me of a song, an old hymn, actually. It is Well With My Soul. And the story behind it is this man, he and his wife and his 4 daughters, they were planning a trip to Europe. Yeah. And his wife and the 4 daughters had to go ahead of him because he was dealing with some business back home. And as they were traveling, their ship hit another ship, and it sunk. And the wife was the only one who survived. That's and she sent like this heartbreaking message that says "saved alone." And he had to travel to Europe, to meet her, and
just her and not his 4
just
kids.
Her.
Yeah, that's really sad.
But he wrote this song, and he said, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll." And he's even using the ocean imagery, but he's contrasting both times. "Whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul." And I think there's something about, like, it's just so shocking, God's peace. Yeah. There's nothing about that story that is peaceful, or that he should feel that comfort.
Yeah, the fact that he's able to, like, overcome that. And I think that's where God's power, like, really, really shows. Because I think there are things in the world that we can imagine that just seem like you can't ever come to terms with that. Like, when you lose a child, like, I've heard that that's, like, the worst pain that someone can experience over death, because it's so unnatural. And you don't expect it. And especially losing, this dude lost 4 of his kids, all 4 of them. Like, great, you have your wife, but your children, like, and that's just horrible. But he was able to find that peace with God, and I think that that's where the divinity of it shows. So.
And we see that in scripture too, like in the book of Job, right? He loses all of his children, and all of his wealth is nothing compared to children, but his livelihood, everything. And he even like is sick by the end, and his wife is like, "Curse God," and he won't. It's like, no, he's somehow at peace. He's trusting that somehow God is still in control.
He has that much faith in God, and I think that's really hard, but it's really respectable, because I think God does answer your prayers in the end. Sure. Like, it comes back to you in one way or another. Like, oftentimes I hear it in reference to tithing, how people who can't give a lot will still give that 10%, and God has ways to give it back to them. Right. And that's not something, like, normally you think, oh, that's stupid to be spending money just to the church, but he finds a way to make sure that you get back what you're giving to him.
Yeah, it's really amazing, like, when we get a glimpse of who God is, what God is doing, and especially in those situations where you shouldn't feel peace.
Right, exactly. It's
and then there's this like supernatural a sense of comfort or a sense of hope. Yeah, against all odds, against like whatever we're expecting.
Yeah. He's just peaceful. He brings peace to the world. Yeah. Like everything we ever need.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Peace out.
Hot pan.
What's you guys want to hear a story?
Oh!
Okay.
Ooh!
This is my dad's story.
We're good.
This is my dad's favorite story.
God.
Go like this. Thank you. What do I like? Thank you so much for donating to my club.
Yeah. I have one more joke.
Okay.
We don't talk about
Video of this. Oh.
You got it for a video?
Pretend. Because you. This is a whole theatrical experience.